Hey, Jack!
Hi, Rich!
Jack, are you ready to talk about MGS?
Metal Gear Solid.
No. Metal Gear Survive. MGS, Metal Gear Survive, not MGS, Metal Gear Solid.
But this takes place in the Metal Gear Solid universe.
But this is Metal Gear Survive, not Metal Gear Solid. It's MG. They're both MG. Look, it's terribly confusing. Fortunately, nobody gives a shit about Metal Gear Survive, and it's already been forgotten about.
Yay!
Well, this is a big deal. This is important because this is the first Metal Gear that happened after the kerfuffle.
The Kojima kerfuffle.
The Kojima kerfuffle.
That's a hard phrase to say.
The Konami Kojima kerfuffle. The KK.
You know, if someone is unaware, Hideo Kojima has been making Metal Gear games for a long time and has kind of been, like, the Metal Gear games have been his, what do you call them?
His child, his baby, his thing.
He is the auteur to the Metal Gear series. He designs every aspect from the intensely intricate and fun gameplay to the batshit crazy story that makes no sense.
The convoluted nonsense, yes. In any case, a hugely popular series.
Absolutely.
Hugely fucking popular. What happened? How did Kojima get ousted? As I understand it, that's kind of just what happened.
What I can only assume happened is he wanted a bigger budget to make his games, and games already cost so much to make and weren't necessarily turning the profit.
Well, this is the AAA problem right now. I looked it up. The budget, and this said nothing about advertising. This just said the game development budget, not the advertising budget, as we all know that's going to inflate things. $80 million.
$80 million to produce Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes. That's a lot of money.
Yes.
And Konami, and you know what, Jack? I don't fucking blame them. They're looking at this $80 million fucking budget, and say the game bombs, they're fucked.
Absolutely. Say the game does well enough to make $90 million.
They're fucked.
They're fucked.
And as a company, I think they very wisely realized we can just make pachinko machines.
Quiero. Quiero.
Cheaply and make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And this was the right call. This is what's wrong. This is what's wrong with AAA games. They cost a lot to make, and it's a huge risk if you're investing in the game.
Absolutely.
And this is why they play it safe, and this is why everything fun in gaming is coming out of the indie games. This is why I stopped playing Metal Gear Survive so I could play Into the Breach, which has recently come out by the developers of FTL.
It's really fun.
It's a really fun game. And so they got rid of Kojima, and now Kojima's making his weird art bullshit on his own. Konami, they're not idiots.
Right.
They know they have the rights to this series that is hugely popular.
Yeah.
And so the first thing after they started making pachinko machines is they made a Metal Gear Solid pachinko machine.
ボスの称号を受け継ぐお互いの忠を尽くせ。さあ来い。ボスは2人もいらない。
Well, they realized, there's not that big a crossover between these two markets. This game series that's popular in the West and this gambling machine that's popular in Japan. There's not a lot of crossover there. So if you want to profit off of your hugely popular series, but you want to keep the budget down, you just make a Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain mod. This is a zombie mod for Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain.
This is using assets already created and doing the bare minimum of game development.
Yes!
Across the board.
Yes!
Pay attention to your fluid intake. Being dehydrated will affect your physical abilities.
It's a survival game. And I suppose like getting into the actual game, Metal Gear Solid is a survival game. And so basically you have to collect resources to craft stuff in your base so that you can get stronger, so you can go further out to collect more resources, so you can bring them back to the base, so you can craft more things, so you can get stronger, so you can go out even further to collect more things, so you can bring them back to your base and make your base and you stronger. And when you are even stronger, you can go out even further and collect more resources, so you can bring them back to your base.
I know you hate this concept. It's not a terrible thing, the survival game. I mean, you can look at a lot of games. You can look like a SimCity. You build some areas for your city so they generate tax revenue so you can build new areas to your city, and it's just, you just keep growing. That's the game. That's not bad.
I dislike the stagnation of these types of games. I hate the idea of hunkering down. Like, unless your fort is really, like, SimCity is really cool. Like, that has other aspects that I think elevate it, like making an entire city. But here, you're putting up fences around your dust pile.
Some kind of nugget in there, Jack, in this. A tiny nugget. There's a tiny nugget of intrigue for me. And it helps that it's got a very solid foundation, because gameplay-wise, just gameplay, Metal Gear Solid 5, very good game.
Absolutely.
So it's got a solid foundation. They just built like a shack on top of the foundation.
But there's barely any Metal Gear in this survival game. It's not like you're gathering materials to build awesome robot mechs. You just find one laying around.
They wanted to profit off of a hugely popular franchise as cheaply as they could do it.
That's the entire review. We're done here. You're incredibly correct when you say this is a mod. This is a fan-created mod. It's a zombie mod, right?
This is like the, Grand Theft Auto. Oh, I always wanted a zombie mod. Yeah, I want a zombie mod. I like Metal Gear. How about a zombie mod for Metal Gear? All right.
And you know what? It's a cute little 2-hour diversion, and everyone has a great time for the free zombie mod.
Yeah, but it's not free, Jack.
There's a problem.
Why zombies?
Why zombies? Metal Gear is all about like military tactics and big, bombastic, over-the-top bad guys, right?
Well, not only that, but like zombies, one person who doesn't say zombies are played out. Find me one. Everyone hates zombies. Everyone's sick of zombies. Why zombies?
Bare minimum effort, right? So imagine that you are the lead designer of this game, right?
Yeah.
And you say, okay, well, we need a lot of enemies, but we don't want to spend the time individually programming them.
Oh, AI's hard to do.
AI is really hard to do, so
Oh my God, you're right.
you make one zombie, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Do you want a level to be more difficult? Paste, 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 paste. Done!
There's more zombies.
There's more zombies.
Dear God, I think that's right.
I think it's right too, Rich. I think it's right too.
So you walk around and you stealth around the zombies. It's overall a less compelling experience than Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh my God. Hey, understatement. How's it
Understatement
going?
of the year. And it probably has the worst menus out of any game I've ever played. Important things. Important things are like hidden under 3 submenus. How do I equip my weapon? I don't fucking know. I needed to cure a wound. I just needed to cure a wound. I was throwing up constantly. I needed my antibiotics.
Yeah.
I went into my inventory because your stuff is in the inventory. Like when you need to eat, you go into your inventory and you can eat from the inventory. Sure. So I got a med kit in my inventory. I open the inventory. There's the med kit. I can't heal from here. Why can't I heal from the inventory? I can eat from the inventory. Why can't I heal from the fucking inventory?
That's ubiquitous user interface. You click on the thing in your inventory, there should be a use button.
I was running low on oxygen because there's dust and you can't breathe in the dust, so you need an oxygen mask, whatever. Yeah. And I was trying to refill my oxygen. I'm slowly suffocating. I'm going through the menus. Just where do I do this? Where do I get more? How do I add the oxygen? I know I can do it. The computer told me I can do it. Right. Where do I go?
Everything about this game is an exercise in inelegance. Even the way I describe it is inelegant. Navigating the user interface is terrible. Everything about this game, and you don't understand what anything does.
No.
You don't understand the building you're building or why you're building it. I remember I finally got to that point where I could make water, clean water. I could make my own clean water. And I had all the stuff, but it said I needed a hanging kettle, but I had a campfire. But the option to make clean water was there. I could see it, but it said I didn't have the right things. But then why could I see it? Because I needed to leave that area, go to a separate area, build a third area, leave the second area, go to the third area. And then, as it turns out, the third area was also the first area, but also the third area. So I could delete the first area if I wanted to, but I didn't figure that out until 10 hours later.
I was going through like the tutorial section of this game, and I found like missions, extra missions, like kill 30 zombies, and you get a thing.
Yeah.
I like the day after that, I played this game again. I was looking for that menu because I wanted to try a new mission. I couldn't find that menu. I didn't find that menu until 2 days later when I stumbled onto it on accident.
The goal of any game, I feel, is we talked about this in our Slay the Spire review, which is you want to hide the math. You want to hide the Excel spreadsheet into something very easy to understand.
You can have the math, you just make it accessible and easy to understand.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. I'll take that. I'll take that too.
This could be designed better.
Survival games aren't necessarily my thing, but
Yeah.
I think I understand the idea. It's slowly growing over
Yeah.
time. And that's ubiquitous to a lot of games. But it's just like, oh, I can collect a bunch of stuff, and eventually I know how to build bigger stuff, and I can get bigger and stronger. And it's that slow progression of one of the things that really bothered me about Metal Gear Survive is some of your survival elements were tied to story missions.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
it didn't matter what you went out to collect, how far you got. You can't make clean water until you finish chapter 7.
I want to jettison the entirety of the story and just have an open world survival.
Yeah.
Just do that. And you get your bullshit out of here. The save the nurse mission, and there's the only one way to go about it. I went to the area where the thing crashed. I found the nurse. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sneak out the way I can. No, you can't do that. The story wants you to go through here to activate the portal and then to fight off the zombies at the portal. No, I got her. I got the objective. I just want to sneak out. It's a survival game. I want to stay alive. No, you have to do the action adventure story mandated section. It doesn't help that I've been playing Dishonored and you can do that shit.
It doesn't help
By the way,
Yeah.
when I was supposed to be playing Metal Gear Metal Gear Survive, at many points I just said, fuck it, and I put on Dishonored.
Little palate cleanser. No, but by the way, it doesn't help that we've played Metal Gear Solid 5 and you can do that shit. This is in canon. Choose how you infiltrate the base shit that this game has jettisoned. If this is a step backwards in its own series.
Yes. Has there been a linear survival experience before? It seems like a contradiction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A linear survival game.
It does seem like it almost seems like it wouldn't work. It's a weird thing. It seems like it wouldn't work, you know what I'm saying? If you tied survival aspects to story. There was some bits that I enjoyed. My first time in the dust. So in the game, there's normal areas and then there's the dust.
Yeah.
And in every area, you need to worry about hunger and thirst. But in the dust, you also need to worry about your oxygen supply.
Yes.
And my first crawl into the dust was genuinely exciting.
Like I said, Jack, there's a nugget in here.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And you want to kill the Wanderers so you can get their Kuban energy so you can refill your oxygen because somehow that works, but fine. But you also want to avoid them because you don't want to run out of your food or water and fighting. And so it was a genuinely nice experience. I was having a really good time until I had enough clean water and food because of my upgrade to my base where you can just walk in and run around and do whatever you want, really.
You know where the game fell apart for me? I talk about that nugget in here.
Yeah.
That nugget is the survival elements. I like the survival, the staying alive,
Sure.
avoid the enemies, doing what you need to, gotta find the food.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why, for no reason, they threw in like a defeat the horde, defend the thing against the horde of enemies. I was kind of enjoying myself, and then I had to turn a machine on, and swarms of zombies came out and attacked the machine. Like, this isn't what I want to do. Well done tower defense is great. This is just defense. There are no towers. There's no strategic, I build the thing that slows the enemies down here, then I build the thing that shoots at the enemies here. It's just, the enemies are swarming. Here's your fence, and you got a stick. Is there anything satisfying, by the way, about playing as one of Big Boss's scuzzy mercenaries? It's like,
There would be if your character was anything.
right.
Your character never talks.
Yeah.
Everyone talks to you and about you and through you, but you're nothing. You don't contribute anything to any conversation.
What do you mean?
We can't be the only ones who've ended up here. We can go home any time now, right? So why don't we help the captain save as many people as we can first?
Look, I'm not some kind of charity worker here. I'll help out as long as there's a common mission. But once that's over, me and the captain are done. Tell me you understand that.
I'm just thinking, I'm the scuzzy Big Boss mercenary. Why am I in charge?
Because you're the player? You're the captain?
What about that guy who's a UN soldier? Why don't they put him in charge of something?
Right? He seems to know shit.
I should be the prisoner.
And I get sent out into the wilderness because I'm expendable, but I'm good.
I'm a part of the mercenary organization that was acquiring nuclear weapons. You don't put me in charge of anything.
But now you have to tell people which vegetable garden to tend.
I'd really appreciate it if you grew a bit faster.
You have vegetable gardens and water filtration systems and even little missions that you can send your dudes out on and say, hey, if you go here, you can get 10 steel. But here's another little piece of the bullshit pie that is Metal Gear Survive, which is you can only send out one group at a time. And if you want more groups to go out, you have to pay in-game currency.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
Transact.
And you wonder why the good games these days are the indie games. AAA is doomed, isn't it? It's doomed. It costs too much to make, and so they have to resort to this kind of shit, this absolute shit that nobody likes in order to make money. Console gaming is fucking doomed. AAA console gaming, this is it. This is it.
It's not doomed. We've seen it before in the movies, which is the giant company buys everything that makes money, and one company will control all the things that make money.
Do you think there is hope for a console gaming market where everything comes from EA? Do you think there's any kind of hope for this? Because they're the ones who are going to come out on top.
You know, personally, I don't think there's hope for it. What I'm saying is, you're right, but it will still be. It'll be doomed in the fact that it's going to suck. It's still going to be there, but
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you don't want to play any of the fucking crap that's coming out because it's all microtransaction samey bullshit.
Yeah.
Does it matter if they're still making them?
Good point.
Fortunately, there's Into the Breach. There'll be games, but the AAA thing, that's flames, man. Flames.
You know, it's looking that way. It's tough, man. It's tough. Into the Breach is great. The soundtrack, oh, I could listen to it all day.
Small groups of people who care making games for love. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. And that's not to say that there aren't those AAA developers still putting out quality.
Bethesda.
Nintendo.
Nintendo, yes.
Still putting out quality. Blizzard.
I honestly, there's not many Blizzard games I play.
Sure. I mean, but they're big, and I'm a
yeah.
big Overwatch person. And so we're already seeing kind of a consolidation of power, right? As the big guys buy the little guys that make the money so they can make the big guys more money.
Yeah. But in EA's case, they just devour everyone they bring under the... Come under our house! Ah! It's a trap! It's a trap! Don't go to EA, it's a trap!
EA is the candy cottage in the forest.
Eating all those orphan game studios.
And all the little game studios are skipping through the woods going, oh, I wonder if we could eat some of that candy.
Our games are too expensive to develop, Hansel. We need help.
Come into my cottage. I have all the game development tools, Hansel and Gretel.
Jack, can you even believe that Metal Gear Survive has the gall, the absolute fucking gall to charge money for a second save file? Isn't that just the most disgusting thing that has happened in gaming?
It is. Without a doubt it is. And there's going to be some contrarians out there who say, but you don't need a second save file.
Do it all the time.
But they're offering it. My contrast to that is something like Breath of the Wild, which is a fantastic game. But you can only have one save file at a time because of limitations with hardware. But they only offer you one save file. You know you only have one save file. There's nothing you can do about it. Here, they put the cupcake out for you. In Metal Gear Survive, they put the cupcake out. You want another save file? You could start another character, play the game differently. Here's your cupcake. Here's your just a little bit of in-game currency. You can do it. Hot mess. just a gosh darn hot mess. I think people kind of know where we're going to stand on this. But would you recommend Metal Gear Survive?
Well, I'd say there's a nugget of something in there, but they fucking charge you money for a save file. They can go fuck themselves and die in a fire. They can choke on their fucking Metal Gear pachinko machine. Fuck them.